All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today's Monday, December 9th, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Working on some really awesome stuff here and got some new updates coming down the pipe here, as I mentioned Friday. And I think the new system we got here is pretty much killing it so far. Some of the tests we've done thus far, which is still pretty early. But anyways, let's get into it here today. So a lot of stuff we talked about on Friday. You know, what are the stocks we're going to look at here today, and what are the concepts we hit last Friday? One of those was we'd be looking for a pullback, right? So spiders here, we were looking for this trend line specifically to act as resistance. We did back off of that, you know, from a technical standpoint there. And you could see, like we mentioned this earlier in the week, like RSI getting a little hot there on the 4-hour and the daily. Stochastic starting to roll over here. So you're getting some technical factors here that are showing some exhaustion. But we also started to see in our proprietary models that dealer positioning is really starting to look for prices to go lower here. And they're starting to let this kind of melt up, sort of unwind a little bit. And that has been the case here. The other thing we were looking at very specifically, we mentioned, is I think Russell will outperform versus the NASDAQ. IWM down 50 basis points today. QQQ down just over 0.75%. Spiders down 0.5%. So yeah, it's just one day, but we're starting to see that kind of action here. And I think that we'll see more of that. I think the NQ, you know, maybe has some downside into this previous all-time high. There's also a trend line up sloping. We could see that kind of pull back into that area. Whereas maybe the Russell kind of just does like a sideways to negative as opposed to like a straight up negative. So that is something we're looking for here. Also, a couple of trades we had going on earlier, and I told you guys about this on Friday. This is given out to the trading room earlier, but it said Tesla at 400 is a stone cold short here, and you know, got a little bit of pierce on the opening candle there, and a nice drop on that. So that was a good day trade there. We also had a beautiful level on Lululemon at 420, and a nice pullback there. So some nice day trades going on here as well. Also, some levels here. Amazon at 230. There's a little bit of a dealer resistance up there. There's also a nice level on Apple, which I won't give out here, but I am watching that for tomorrow as well. So definitely some levels here. Definitely some stocks moving. Later in the week, we've got Broadcom earnings. That will be interesting. So you have kind of a descending, broadening wedge here, as some technicians will call it. I just call it, you know, a bull flag. Going into earnings. Now, could it make new all-time highs? It could, but it's earnings, right? It's a crapshoot. So we'll see how that plays out this week. We also have CPI on Wednesday. It's not as big, it's not as hedged as it used to be. It's not as big of a mover, but it's something. And if we do get a surprise to the upside, you could see a little bit, you know, the market start to worry a little bit about rate cuts not, you know, being as much on the table. I don't think it'll really move the needle. We'll talk about rates in a minute, but yeah, that's kind of the snapshot here for this week. And yeah, we have our levels already set to go, and not only the levels, but the exact dates that we're looking for this particular pullback to conclude. But right now, let's just suffice to say that we're looking for a little bit more downside. We also had a beautiful level here. If you missed the short that we had in the trading room on Friday, which is, you know, somewhere near the highs, we did get the NQ very close to the high. But there was a back test level here just above 60.80, and then that turned into a bear flag. So nice drop. SPX closing at 60.50. You guessed it, there's ODT interest right there at the end of the day, and we'll see what we get tomorrow. I think gap up for tomorrow is for fading. Gap down, I don't know. I think this is going to be a little bit more of a grindy type pullback. Nothing major. Again, by the way, like, we're not looking for, you know, heavy downside here. I've, you know, explained that last week. But, you know, look at the volume here. Like, it's 32 million, it's 4:20 p.m., 32 million shares. So that's including after hours. So not a lot here on the spider volume-wise. It's not like major distribution. But good pullback here, an awesome way to start the week. China, let's talk about China as well. Yeah, I heard a lot of, you know, rumors about more stimulus coming. Did have a nice position in ASHR. That is in the money nicely now after today. FXI also getting a huge bid. There was, let me pull it up here for you guys. So somebody obviously heard the same rumors that I was hearing. So you can see here on Yin, big time call flow coming in, 500 up 500%. That was on Friday. I heard, rumors about this type of stuff as early as I think the week before. But good move for FXI. Take a look at BABA, Baidu, Pinduo, Duo, JD, the whole usual suspects, KWeb, all up very nicely today. And China up here on the back of more stimulus talk. Qs here backing off 522. So nice little dip. And I think max move right now is probably 510 for that, but we'll see. Again, that's still a little bit of a ways away. I don't know if we're going to get there right away. IWM, I think, is interesting around 235. We'll see if that even gets there. These are just short-term levels. Diamond here, lower low. We'll watch that around 440 for now. SMH was all over the map today. So take a look at the big fat gap down, and it came all the way back. Take a look at the equipment makers. Micron, AMAT, and KLA had nice pops. I think Qualcomm was up nicely. So they tried to rally, but then you had NVIDIA just dragging the tape down, right? It came back, and then it came back down. AMD, it had that nice false breakdown last week, or, the Monday after that, we talked about that liquidity grab, and it worked out. Down on volume today. So AMD down, Intel flat here. That was up a little bit earlier, but semi's still kind of mixed. I still think they can get a pop into the end of the year, though. A little bit weaker here. IGV outside move down, basically again engulfing candle. So gap up, new all-time high, and then making a low. Another thing too, we talked about in the trading room, just by the by, on Friday, is look for a move to new all-time highs in the overnight, and then a gap down, which is exactly what happened. So same kind of sentiment there with IGV, making new highs, closing lower, taking out the last really like 3 days of trading. So maybe IGV finally ready to pull back. Dow Transports continue to just grind down here. So we're looking for 16.6 there. I think you get down in that area, you get start looking at this for a bounce. I mean, you got the 50 MA, you got this, you can zoom out here. Look at this big fat level here. And then you got the trend line there as well. Weekly 20 MA, not far off. If we're down there hard, tomorrow for some reason, I might have to pick that up, look at something like this, at least for a bounce here. So transports, speaking of bounce, look at it. I'm just seeing this just now here. Look at look at Ethereum and Bitcoin. There's more margin dumping here. So I was just going to skip over to rates here. We'll get to Bitcoin in a second. But yeah, I just saw that. So I knew it was down a minute ago, and I just see it bouncing now. So they flushed it into the 4 p.m. close, it looks like. But anyway, rates here, 410. Again, that's a big level. As long as we're like grinding around that or below it, their Fed is fine. That's my take. 10's getting a bounce here. Watch this. If this ends up being a false breakdown, liquidity grab, the 10s can go higher. Watch out for that. China stimulus, right? These things matter. It's all connected now. And there's a 30 trying to get back above that little trend line there. XHB was up today after the failure last week. At face value, I'd be looking for a lower high on the daily, but the weekly is still fine. VNQ finally getting a green day. It's hammered on this trend line a bunch. We'll see if it can get something going. A little bit of uptick in volume there. XLF, finally some selling here, right? So finally a lower high and a lower low. That's the first time in a long, first time. I mean, we got to go back to what, like April? Like literally pretty much. Oh, I guess technically you had one here. But yeah, I mean, geez, what a rally this has had. Finally seeing some downside. Maybe 49 would be some short-term support. That's kind of where we inched in. And then you got the previous high at 48 with the 50 MA down there. So pretty clean levels so far. KRE, ABE, and oh my God, even the broker-dealers were down today. It's bad when the broker-dealers are down, right? Down 1.5. And again, look at where we just kind of didn't go anywhere for like weeks. Right, look at the RSI, kind of just a little distribution there. And I mean, basically there's a MACD too. But yeah, in one day, we just wiped out like 2 weeks of trading, right? But they're still ridiculously strong. On borrowed time on the bigger time frames, these are going to come back hard when they come in. But right now, just a dip. Oil also up, but not up a lot, right? I mean, look at the China, and that's another thing too. Just be aware. The last time China did stimulus, we'll have to see where we are at the end of the week. But look at ASHR off the highs by the end of the day. And like the last time China did stimulus, we really had that nice move in oil. And we'll talk about the metals in a second. But oil not up as much as you'd think. So I don't know if it's ready to put in a pivot yet. I think it's close. But, you know, up 1.38, still been in the range. XLE was flat, essentially. It did give up the gains intraday, though. And then XOP and OIH were green, although they came in off the highs. CCJ, big fat outside move down. Down 6%. Again, you just wiped out 2 weeks, 3 weeks of trading in one day. So a little bit of weakness there. URNM, this is why I've been saying over and over and over, you got to get back above 50 to confirm this higher low pivot. Now this can become a lower high. So uranium, a little bit weak here. CCJ is still fine. Like it does a pretty ugly candle, but it's still okay. But the smaller ones, a little bit weaker here. So we might need to go test lower prices there. Net gas up 3 1/4, but it came off the highs again. I'm still not in love with it. I wouldn't touch this. Oh, by the way, I believe the contango spread for like spring closed at the fastest rate in like multiple years. Euro hedge reported. So again, warm weather here, except here in Florida lately. Warm weather is kind of causing that demand to drop. So you might need some geopolitical news to move that. But anyway, dollar index again, still holding that falling wedge pattern. 105.50. We talked about that level. We hit it Friday. We bounced. I know this is a messy chart here, but I got to keep it like that because these are important lines here for now. Bounce there. Gold up again. China stimulus up 88 basis points. Touched 27. Touched the 50 MA. Backed off. This is just a tightening range. The longer this goes sideways, the better it is. The big winner was silver. We talked about this. Said we not a bad flag pattern, right, on the 4 hour. Beautiful coil and a nice pop up to 33. Guess where it stopped? Right? This is why technicals are so great. 50% fib, almost on the button. So nice, level to level action there. And I mean, look, you knew that was going to be resistance anyway, right? Got a little base there, back test. So now bulls want to see a higher low or another flag. And then we can try the 618, which would be, I just erased it, but yeah, 33.50 we'll say. Here's the other thing. So China stimulus should be wildly bullish for platinum and palladium. And it's almost like we're getting diminishing returns already. Remember, like the last time, specifically palladium, look what this did on the China stimulus. It really had a nice run, right? And it, finished up, it was up 2 1/4, but kind of came off the highs, right? It didn't even close above 1,000. Platinum still not even a daily higher high. That's got to get through 980. That doesn't mean it can't just go up tomorrow, but for initial reaction, almost looks like it was priced in. Copper up 1.5. We talked about this. I said if you keep hammering on this 425, it'll go through, and it's done that. Also, it finished off the highs just like all the other metals, though. Next big pivot's around 435. Now you got one right there at 430. To be fair, which we hit. Bitcoin, yeah. So I'm just doing this in real time here because, yeah. So that level's holding up. So nice little margin flush there. Good bounce. Again, forget the stupid volatility. Don't worry about this volatility here. Turn your mind off to this stuff. This is just tightening range. Again, we can go back here. We had that wedge there. Let's do this now. Let's update the charts as they give us information. 100K is obviously a psych level. You got higher lows right now, and that's all you need to know. As long as this range is tightening, it can coil to release more energy. Simple. ETH, testing the 20 MA, it held. You did kind of back test this big fat trend line too. So, might need to do some basing here, but I don't see any issues overall. We had some movement in some of the alts over the weekend too. Look at these alts taking a good hit here. XRP down, Solana, Cardano, Matic down. I know everybody's favorite is that making new highs here. So I mean, really, the flight to safety trade. I mean, everybody should have realized. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. You get into Pepe when things get nasty. But But in any case, Bitcoin holding up fine here. And we'll leave it at that for now. So spiders here, again, we'll look for continued downside here. Not a ton. Again, little pullback here, and then maybe Santa comes to town. But right now, yeah, good level action. Awesome stuff. Excited about all the stuff that's been we're working on in the trading room here. And it's been a good time here. So anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. See you guys all tomorrow.